What's going on YouTube? It's Giga here bringing you some Series 11 rental teams for you to check out this season. I am sorry, it's a little bit late into the season. Things have been very busy lately. I've been shiny hunting, surprise, surprise. And I also did have a lot of stuff going on in my personal life. Everything is fine, it's all been good stuff, but as a result, things have kind of had to go on the back burner a little bit. But I did want to make sure to get some teams out. Unfortunately, it is only 4 teams this month, but I'm hoping that these 4 pack enough of a punch that it's okay. So starting things off, we're starting with Calyrex-Shadow, and if anyone knows me, Calyrex-Shadow, this style is my favorite. Specs Calyrex-Shadow has always been my favorite thing, especially with Weezing. Older viewers of the channel know that in Series 8 I did Calyrex, Regigigas, Weezing kind of as a main core, and so we're bringing that back, mainly with the idea that Calyrex hits very hard on the special end, and due to Astral Barrage being spread, you can really afford to specs it because you don't really want to max it, and you have really good other max options, particularly Regigigas. So the main idea, right, is max Regigigas using Weezing to neutralize abilities, clean up with Calyrex in the endgame. Also take note of the fact that Weezing's ability neutralizing gas does not affect Calyrex's as one, so you are still getting those boosts. Other than that, we do have Draining Kiss, particularly for some difficult sort of fairies. Obviously, I mean not fairies, dark types. I know it's obviously not going to come up super often, but having coverage for that is really great. Leaf Storm has the potential to KO variants of Kyogre and Groudon, so that's a really big thing to know, and it's just overall really good coverage. Weezing, Ice Punch, mainly for just a lot of things like Thundurus doesn't like it, Landorus doesn't like it, just a lot of things really are not going to like that. Giga Impact, obviously Max Strike, huge, and then finally High Horsepower. Weezing, once again, really standard set. Sludge Bomb for damage, Taunt to stop things like Trick Room, and then Will-O-Wisp for support. We do have leftovers just because of the fact that Weezing likes to just hang out and sit on the field, so having that ability is always great. We also are faster than most standard Incin. We do hit about 85, so that lets you outspeed Incin in most variants of Grimmsnarl, which can be a really big deal. Obviously, being able to go for a Taunt before they're able to do anything is huge in the event that you don't necessarily want to go for a Max Strike. Next up, we do have Rillaboom. So Rillaboom is overall just, I think, a really good pick for the team, mainly because of the fact that Regieleki and Kyogre are very scary, and having a good way to deal with both of those in the form of Rillaboom is huge. In terms of spread, really the thing that I was calcing for is Calyrex-Shadow. With the Assault Vest and the spread, you are able to take 2 Astral Barrages, and you are able to KO back with Knockoff. You also are able to KO guaranteed with Max Darkness into a Max Calyrex. So even in the event that they choose to max, you do have the flexibility of maxing Rillaboom and going for big damage. Also take note of the fact that, like, even with Slow Start, like, Regigigas still hits very hard, and it's not always the case if you want to max Regigigas, you do have other options. And finally, rounding out this team, we do have a Sun Core with Torkoal and Charizard. So the last 2 slots took a while to figure out, and my thought process with Charizard is due to the fact that Charizard is already very naturally fast, and neutralizing gas isn't going to affect it too much in the event that you need Weezing, right? Like, Colossal and Venu were both used, so that's a slight issue, but their speed depends on their ability, and so having something that's very fast is huge. Charizard is going to outspeed and KO Urshifu, so that's really great there. You do have Blast Burn, which is going to become that huge G-Max Wildfire, which can cause a ton of teams a ton of problems. Air Slash serving as a really great option for speed control, so you do have the ability to take on Zacians, right? Like, you can use Rillaboom Charizard as a lead versus a Zacian team, go for Fake Out into Zacian, max Airstream with Charizard, and then the subsequent turn you are going to be faster with Charizard and have access to those big G-Max Wildfires. And finally, like I said, we do have Torkoal. This is a very bulky variant of Torkoal with max defense and almost max HP and just a little bit of special defense, mainly with the idea that you want to kind of sit on the field. You do have Citrus Berry for extra recovery. Earth Power is going to do huge chunks onto Zacian. Burning Jealousy is, I think, very important, especially given all the Pokemon in this format that like to set up. Having the ability to get a guaranteed burn can completely turn the tide in your favor. And finally, we do have Body Press. Body Press overall just a solid option, taking advantage of Torkoal's very high natural physical defense, and really just pushing forward with that. So overall, a very good hyper offensive team with a lot of flexibility. It does struggle particularly against Regieleki, but other than that, I think a very good team overall, and definitely one of my favorites. We're definitely going to be featuring this team a lot on the channel. We already did feature it in our best of 3 versus Nino Pokebros. I'll make sure to include that in the top. And this also recently was featured on James Beck's channel. So I'll make sure to link both of those up top, so check those out. So overall, first team, Hyper Offense, Calyrex-Shadow. So moving to the complete opposite end of the spectrum from Hyper Offense, we do have Palkia. So this is my standard team of Chansey Shuckle. We use it every time. It is pretty much everything other than Palkia is the standard. There's not really any sort of big twists there. It is Protect, Follow Me, Expanding Force, Mystical Fire, and DD. That is a slight variant where most have Helping Hand over Protect. I think Protect is really great because you sometimes do expect people to want to target into Indeedee, just saying, hey, you're going to go for Follow Me, and being able to sort of invalidate that is always really big. Palkia is a really interesting one, so as I'm sure some people have noticed that it does have pressure and leftovers, which is not really typically what you see with Palkia. And the main idea is that Palkia, works very, very well with Shuckle because of the fact that it has Trick Room, so Shuckle can thrive under it, and it does have Body Press. So we don't necessarily always need to guard split onto Chansey, right? We now have the secondary option of guard splitting onto Palkia. Palkia does have access to leftovers to let it recover. One thing worth noting, though, is that Palkia isn't the most bulky Pokemon, even after a guard split, and the fact that we don't have Protect is a little bit tricky at times. So this is definitely more of a late game option, but even still, Palkia does still hit very hard. You are able to pick up some massive KOs. So even though there is the fact that, hey, we're sacrificing the Adrenaline Orb, or not the Adrenaline Orb, the whatever Palkia's orb is, the Lustrous Orb for leftovers, we're still getting that big damage out. We still are able to go for the classic Chansey strats, and it works out there. Liepard, very standard. We do have Snarl and Burning Jealousy. Once again, so many things are setting up. We do just want to try and cripple things as much as possible. We do have Copycat, so we can go for a turn 1 max guard with Trick Room, either with Palkia or Hatterene, and then set that up, and then get the guaranteed Trick Room. And then finally, we do have Hatterene. Hatterene, once again, pretty standard. Misty Explosion means that you pretty much are only using Hatterene if you're planning on maxing it, just for big damage. There is a lot of flexibility, though, like I said, because of the fact that Guard Split does work with more than just Chansey, and so the ability to Guard Split onto Palkia or onto Hatterene and really just like control that damage is going to be huge. One thing of note, or actually a couple things of note. First of all, Indeedee is min speed. It is 0 IVs in speed as well as a relaxed nature. Just trying to make it as slow as possible. So you will usually be guaranteeing to set up a train unless there is a speed tie. The only issue is max speed Amoonguss does, max speed Amoonguss is fine because you have safety goggles, but like you are going to potentially underspeed some bigger threats that can be a problem. Shuckle is also relaxed, but it is actually max speed. So it is going to speed tie with Torkoal, which I didn't realize at first, but I do now, and it's unfortunate. It does make things a little bit interesting, but I think that it still is fine, mainly because of the fact that Shuckle still is in a good position. And even if Torkoal hits you first, it's not really doing too much to Chansey or Shuckle, and you should be able to get off a move, just sacrificing potentially a little extra health. So if you want to play my quote-unquote meme team of the month, here it is. It's been a lot of fun to use. It causes some fun games, and I really can't wait for those videos where it's awkwardly me just rambling. Moving on, we are jumping back into Hyper Offense. This time, we're using Groudon. So this is I guess a variant of, for people that know Neo VGC, this is a variant of the team that he built where he has Zacian as the restricted over Groudon, and I forget what he has instead of Venusaur, but I thought having access to Venusaur and Groudon was just a really solid option. So this is the triple threat, if you will, with Venusaur, Colossal, and Blastoise all being able to go for those big max moves and getting off that residual damage, which is going to be huge. Colossal, obviously the main star of the show. We can trigger its policy not only with Dragapult going for Surf, but we also do have the Aqua Jet on Blastoise. So that's really huge, right? We are going to be able to get off big Vocalits. We also do have Heat Wave, so even if we don't necessarily want to max it, max Colossal, we do have the ability to get off huge weakness policy boosted Heat Waves that can be in the sun, so that's another big deal. We do have Helping Hand on Blastoise, mainly to help with Colossal, but also to help with other things, right? Like Precipice Blades, no one's really going to want to take that, especially after a Swords Dance. So Blastoise is a really good choice. I think Rain Dish works because of the prevalence of Kyogre and just the fact that you can recover, quite a bit of HP in the long run. Dragapult, very standard. We are max attack, max speed. just want to be as fast as possible. We do have the ability to max it with things like Fly, Surf, Dragon Darts, and Phantom Force, just like giving you a lot of flexibility. Venusaur, once again, really standard. We do have Leaf Storm over Frenzy Plant, mainly just because of the fact that I do, like I said, want to have the flexibility in maxing, and Frenzy Plant kind of locks you in to having Venusaur max, and this really gives you sort of some freedom with that. Weather Ball, really great against the Mirror Match. We do have Cobra Berry just because of the prevalence of Max Airstream. Groudon, pretty straightforward. Citrus Berry for recovery. Swords Dance, just because, you know, we like to play a little greedy, right? There's no reason not to. And then finally, we do have Urshifu. Urshifu is just such a big threat in this format for so many reasons. Being able to hit through Protect, obviously huge. Gives you very good answers into Calyrex, and just things that can potentially threaten the team overall. So we do have the rental code on that for this more hyper offense. How many different max moves can we go for a team? And finally, moving on, we do have the last team of the month. This time we are bringing back Solgaleo, so very, very similar to kind of what we did last time. This is going to be a weakness policy Solgaleo with the idea that, hey, we're faster than Kyogre, which is really the main thing. So we have the ability to get off big max lightnings. We do have Sunsteel Strike, obviously our main one with main coverage. Really great that it can break through Disguise on Mimikyu. So being able to stop a potential Trick Room is huge. And then finally Earthquake overall for really good coverage. Our main way of proccing that policy is going to be Grimmsnarl. So we do have Sucker Punch to proc that. And then Grimmsnarl, I think having Thunder Wave and Spirit Break were really good options because of the fact that there are a lot of things that still are going to outspeed Solgaleo, and being able to deal with those effectively is really important. Spirit Break, always really great to lower special attack. And then finally, we just have Light Screen, mainly because of the fact that we do have double Intimidate. So I didn't really necessarily think it was too much of an issue. Moving right along, we do have Gyarados. Gyarados is one of our answers to Zacian, having access to Intimidate, having access to just really good coverage, very good way for dealing with, Kyogre, having access to Power Whip, Protect and Taunt. Taunt, once again, just trying to stop Trick Room, because Trick Room can be a little bit of an issue. We do have, the Focus Sash, mainly because of Aleki. Aleki is a really scary threat, and even in some cases, like, a Wakan Berry just wasn't enough. So having that extra durability was super important. So I just think Gyarados, great answer into Zacian, really great answer into Lapdog for the most part, depending, and it offers some nice coverage. Actually, Lapdog, not really, but it's fine. We have other things for Lapdog. Incineroar just does what it does. It's great in every format for a reason. We do have Snarl, mainly for Calyrex-Shadow. We do have Parting Shot to pivot out. Flare Blitz for Zacian, Fake Out, just because it's good stuff Incin. We do have 12 speed to outspeed 4 speed Incin. Other than that, not really anything of particular note. We are very specially bulky with a decent amount of physical bulk. So we are going to be in certain roles depending on on Zacian, but we do, like I said, have double Intimidate. But we do have to be a little bit weary of Thundurus as a result. So Thundurus can cause some issues, but overall I think it's fine. Next up, we do have Goodra. Goodra pretty much hard walls Torkoal Venu, which has become so prevalent in the format. Sap Sipper stops all sorts of grass moves. Torkoal's not going to be able to do anything to it, and with the Assault Vest, it's just eating up hits. It does have incredible coverage in the form of Dragon, Poison, Ice, and Fire. Like, you are hitting most things for super effective. You do have the ability to change the weather. You do have the ability to boost special attack, lower attack, and also, yeah, you have a lot of just different control there. So Goodra, a really solid choice. Like I said, it functions very well into the Torkoal Venu core, and I think Goodra was really being explored towards the end of Series 8 as an answer to that, and it didn't really get its chance to shine. So hopefully, shine, son. Hopefully now we can kind of demonstrate that. And then finally, rounding things off, we do have Primarina. Primarina mainly for that fairy typing. We are obviously using Solgaleo, which means we are weak to Urshifu, and having an answer to that in the form of Primarina is huge with Moonblast. Right, Moonblast is just going to get big KOs, Scald for the potential burn, Life Dew just because, hey, we want to be able to have longevity here, and having Life Dew is a really good option for that. And then Protect standard coverage. Like I said, we do have to be just a little bit weary of Thundurus, but at the same time, Goodra as well as Solgaleo are very good answers into it. Grimmsnarl does have the potential to deal with some of the partners and make it so we can thrive, but usually a Max Steel Spike after getting the Sucker Punch boost is more than enough to handle that. So this is the final team of the month. Like I said, it is only for this month, so once again, we do have Hyper Offensive Calyrex, we do have Chansey Shuckle Palkia, we do have super max move Groudon, and finally we do have just like a fairly offensive Solgaleo team. Not anything super fancy there, but so now everyone's favorite part is the giveaway. So as we were going back into this series, I thought it made sense to give away everyone's favorite Pokemon, Colossal, Venusaur, and Charizard. So first prize is Colossal, second prize G-Max Venusaur, third prize is G-Max Charizard. All of them are shiny and fully battle ready. So in first place, we do have Matthew Richards, so congratulations to that. It's been super exciting to see you comment on stuff, and I'm glad that you're finally getting to get something to say thank you. So enjoy the G-Max Colossal. In second place, we do have Andy Love VGC. Andy's going to be taking home that big, scary, shining G-Max Venusaur, which in all honesty probably should have been first place, but we don't like to talk about Andy's Colossal and me because it's fine. We don't like Colossal with Andy. It's fine. And finally, in third place, that is going to be that G-Max Shiny Charizard. Congratulations to William Naring on winning that. So I will make sure to reach out to all of you about getting those prizes. As for next month, this time, I'm beyond thankful to actually announce this. So a huge shout out to Chris Wrights for donating this month's prizes. We normally do 3 Pokemon, but this month we were actually doing 4. So Chris was kind enough to donate the shiny Tapus from the event back in the day. So it's one of each Tapu. So it's shiny Feeny, Lele, Coco, and Bulu. So first prize is going to be your pick of one of them, of 2. So we're going to actually do it a little bit differently. So first prize is your pick of 2 of the shiny Feenies, or of the Tapus. Second prize is one of them, and then third place is whatever is left. So overall, huge thank you to Chris. Huge congratulations to everyone that won. Definitely make sure to use the teams. We will be making sure to play with them. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. We will get back into the normal swing of things now that things are back to normal. And until next time, I hope all of you are wonderful, and I'll see you then.